Please subscribe. We see two choices when shopping a Honda Pilot, shading and cowhide. We'd pick an X or an XL relying upon your inclination for inside lodging. The shading is up to you. The 2020 Honda Pilot hits all the family must-dos like a finished end-of-the-week tasks list. The 3-push hybrid has been with us for a couple of years at this point, and it's one of our top picks in the class, even among more up-to-date contenders. We rate the range at 6.5 on our general scale that slants vigorously toward base forms that bother with an enticing cost. For only somewhat more, the Pilot is altogether better and progressed. We'd drive a Pilot X off the parcel and never think back. With the 2020 Pilot, Honda has a 3-push hybrid in the perfect spot at the ideal time. It's offered in LX, X, XL, Touring, Elite, and Black Edition forms, the last is new this year. Base front-wheel drive renditions cost simply over $32,000, while top trims scarcely peak $50,000. Notwithstanding value, the Pilot offers 3 lines of agreeable seats for up to 8, with enough freight space for the entirety of life's aggregated stuff. Outside, the Pilot barely pushes it among hybrid and minivan. We wouldn't fret either. Inside, the Pilot is shot with strong fabric or agreeable cowhide upholstery, with enough tech treats to take a break, remembering an 8.0-inch touchscreen for most forms. Each Pilot is controlled by a 3.5-liter V6 that makes 280 pull mated to a 6 or 9-speed programmed. Front-wheel drive is standard on most forms, all-wheel drive costs $2,000 extra on others, or is standard on Touring, Elite, and Black Edition adaptations. The Pilot returns around 22 miles per gallon consolidated in many variants, paying little mind to transmission. Government and autonomous analyzers have beneficial things to report about the Pilots they've slammed. It's among one of the more secure hybrids out and about. Each Pilot gets programmed crisis slowing down as standard hardware, crucial to family vehicles. The Pilot LX avoids a portion of the highlights we'd lean toward in a hybrid. It gets fabric upholstery, seats for 8, a 5.0-inch chauffeur sound without cell phone similarity and 1 USB charge port. Spend more and get much more. The Pilot X is our pick of the pack and gets updated 18-inch wheels, vulnerable side screens, a 8.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, 3-zone programmed atmosphere controls, power movable driver's seat, warmed front seats, and 2 USB charge ports for $35,525 for front drive adaptations. The Pilot has matured well, albeit not many individuals will mistake it for something besides a major hybrid. Its shapes are innocuous and clean, and we value its clear style all around. It's a 6 for style. A year ago the Pilot was refreshed with more chrome and headlights, yet the new vehicles aren't a takeoff from the advanced Pilots that have been out and about for a couple of years at this point. The shapes barely split the distinction among minivan and hybrid, and from the sides, the Pilot looks emphatically palatial. Peruse, big. The natural, 2-box shape is supplemented by enormous windows and an abrupt wrinkle along the body sides that splits up any chunk-sidedness. Inside, the Pilot is comparatively calmed with a group of beige and dim surfaces that are not really gaudy, yet in addition turn prepared to stand upward to little children and pets. The low scramble is a shelter to advance vision, and the low window line absorbs accessible daylight and carries it into the lodge. Pilots with a moonroof can be that a lot more splendid. Another Black Edition for 2020 paints the vast majority of the inside and outside in, that's right, dark. It's for the most part a Pilot Elite with an appearance bundle, and a little disposition. Indeed, even family hybrids don't hold back on power nowadays. Every one of the 2020 Pilots are outfitted with a 3.5-liter V6 that makes 280 horsepower and a programmed transmission. Most Pilots will get a 6-speed program that deftly carries between gears, despite the fact that Touring, Elite, and Black Edition forms get a 9-speed that has more machine gear pieces, yet not altogether better efficiency. Our rating here applies to the meat of the lineup, the 3.5-liter V6 snared to a 6-speed program that drives the front or each of the 4 wheels when alternatively prepared. It has great force and we give it a 6. In spite of the fact that the V6 has great draw from the beginning, its best stunt is refinement. The V6 melts away into everyday life, and most Pilots will be outfitted with sound-protecting windshields and front windows. The V6 is appraised to tow as much as 5,000 pounds, when appropriately prepared, which is sufficient to tow most end-of-the-week toys. The 6-speed programmed keeps the 3.5-liter in its effectiveness sweet spot and returns consolidated efficiency in the low 20s. The redesigned 9-speed is similarly as capable, despite the fact that it chases to locate the correct rigging for snappy passes. A portion of the low-speed uncertainty was subdued 2 or 3 years prior. Customers would do well to pick one of the more up-to-date pilots on the off chance that they're thinking about top trim levels. The suspension is blocked to sift through street flaws, which it progresses admirably. Pilot LX, X and XLs ride on 18-inch wheels with a lot of sidewall give, yet 20 inches don't ruin the ride. The Pilot directs well with certain reactions, regardless of whether the Honda family hybrid's back is squeezed against the divider. The Pilot has in excess of 7 creeps of ground leeway to scramble up almost any slope, if that is the place the street goes. The 2020 Pilot easily conveys families and payload with space for up to 8 travelers and 16.5 cubic feet of capacity behind each of the 3 lines. Grown-ups can fit in every one of the 3 lines of seats, which is moderately uncommon among contenders, and we give it focuses better than expected for roomy facilities in each of the 3 columns and a liberal payload territory, including little thing stockpiling. It's a 9 out of 10. The front seats are throughout the day agreeable, and on everything except the base model, broadly customizable. Pilot X's incorporate a force-movable driver's seat, XL and higher trims get a force-flexible traveler's seat. The subsequent column is a seat that can situate up to 3, however Elite and Black Edition models sub in Commander's seats. Skipper's seats are accessible on touring trims as a no-cost trade. Second push riders get in excess of 40 creeps of extra space, with a 1-contact catch to tumble down for third push get 2. The subsequent column is almost as agreeable as the first, with a lot of thigh support for extended periods. In the third line, Honda offers almost 32 crawls of extra space to move around that is preferable by and by over it is on paper. We'd recommend stopping grown-ups in the initial 2 columns, in spite of the fact that youngsters and little grown-ups can fit fine. With every one of the 3 columns set up, the Pilot has 16.5 cubic feet of load room, which is as large as the same number of fair-size vehicles' trunks. A portion of that room is vertical space, over the third push headrests, for tall freight or inclining towers of goods. Tumble down the third line and that space extends to in excess of 46 cubic feet. With the subsequent line collapsed, freight space maximizes to in excess of 80 cubic feet for courageous rushes to large box retailers. On Pilots that cost $40,000 or less, Honda fits generous materials that vibe sturdy for regular family use. On expensive Elite and Black Edition trims that cost about $50,000, the materials feel a stage behind the extravagance vehicle cost. Government and free analyzers concur that the 2020 Honda Pilot is protected in an accident. The family hybrid got a 5-star by and large evaluating by government controllers and UFS gave it a top safety pick rank for 2019, which we hope to persist to this year. That is a 8 on our scale. Notwithstanding front and side shade airbags, the Pilot is furnished with a setup of dynamic security includes that are standard on each model. Forward crash alerts with programmed crisis slowing down, versatile voyage control, and dynamic path control come standard, even on base models. Pilot X and higher models get standard vulnerable side screens. The FSA praised the Pilot's programmed crisis slowing down predominant and noticed that the Pilot kept away from front accidents at 12 miles per hour and eased back the hybrid by 12 miles per hour in the 25 mile per hour test. Outward vision in the Pilot is commonly acceptable, despite the fact that it's a long post the back windows. Visiting, Elite, and Black Edition models are furnished with uprated headlights that rate better by the FSA. The standard headlights on most models rate worthy. A dreary base adaptation shields the 2020 Pilot from arriving at higher on our highlights score. Our highlights score may stop at those adaptations, however we recommend customers continue strolling. Beginning from a normal score, the Pilot barely passes up additional focuses as a result of its little base infotainment screen, yet we give it a point for the Pilot X's heavenly worth. It's a 6. Honda offers LX, X, XL, Touring, Elite, and Black versions of the Pilot. That last one is new and costs more than $50,000, which infringes on extravagance vehicle turf. More on that in a moment. The base LX is straightforward and does exclude numerous common luxuries at its ease of simply over $32,000. On 18-inch wheels, the LX gets fabric upholstery, seats for 8, dynamic well-being highlights, that we spread over, a 5.0-inch chauffeur sound without cell phone similarity and 1 USB charge port. All-wheel drive is a $2,000 alternative. We'd select rather for a Pilot X, which costs $35,525 for front drive models. All-wheel drive is $2,000 more. The Pilot X includes updated 18-inch wheels, vulnerable side screens, a 8.0-inch touchscreen for infotainment including Apple CarPlay and Android Auto similarity, 3-zone programmed atmosphere controls, power customizable driver's seat, warmed front seats, and 2 USB charge ports. Pilot XLs include cowhide upholstery, a moonroof, and back overhangs for $3,400 more. The highest point-of-the-line Pilot Touring and Black Edition models cost about $50,000 a